Let's meet our favorite Thor. But not the Marvel one, it's a different take on the fantasy tale we are used to. Hello and welcome back to every recap ever. Today we are seeing a fantasy adventure movie called Valhalla, The Legend of Thor. No, not again. Anyways, join our Patreon for unblurred videos and subscribe. So let's get familiar with Valhalla. It is divided into 3 parts. Asgard, the kingdom of Almighty Odin and the god of thunder Thor. Utgard, where giants and monsters live, who are the rulers of darkness and chaos. And the last one, Midgard, which is the home for mortals. I mean the humans. So the glory of Valhalla is diminishing due to the past war with the giants. Meanwhile, in Midgard, we meet Roskva, who's crafting something with stone and praying. Her big brother, Tjalfi, is busy doing other houseworks. Suddenly, a thunderstorm happens and Thor and his brother Loki arrive. They decide to spend the night in their farmhouse. Thor asks Tjalfi to get some firewood while Roskva gives water to his giant goats. He decides to unalive his goats and eat them. Why? Because they only have fish stew made in the farmhouse, and he doesn't like fish. Thor gives the family some meat and specifically tells them to not crack any bones, as he will revive his goats back to normal. I don't know about this movie, but I like Avengers Thor more. Thor then tells the reason for their journey. So basically, Loki once went into a forest for a walk and brought a lonely puppy to Valhalla. However, day after day, the puppy kept growing bigger. They eventually realized that it wasn't a dog but a giant wolf, and as per their prophecy, the wolf will one day eat the sun and the darkness will reign. So they decide to chain the wolf in the cave. However, the giants from Utgard are constantly trying to free it. If this happens, their kingdom will be in great danger. Meanwhile, Loki tricks Tjalfi to eat the bone by saying it will make him stronger. The next morning, Thor revives his goats and notices that someone ate the bone. This makes him super angry. Tjalfi even apologizes for his mistake, but Thor decides to punish him. Basically, he will be taken as his servant. Roskva asks him to take her as well, as she doesn't want him to go alone. However, she needs to be by their family side. Tjalfi bids farewell to his family and leaves for the journey. On the way, Thor makes him push the cart and he falls unconscious. I mean, why do they have to make him so evil? As Tjalfi wakes up, he sees that they are in the sky and about to reach Valhalla. They finally arrive at the place and they find Roskva hiding in the cart. Thor then asks Loki to take her home, but according to him, she might be useful to them in future. In the palace, Tyr informs them about Fenrir. I mean, we are talking about that wolf, so he has apparently escaped and all the gods are now waiting for them in the hall to discuss this matter. He takes Tjalfi and Roskva with him and warns them to keep their mouths shut. The gods notice the mortals, but don't say anything. Their main concern is now Fenrir. Apparently, giants are involved in this and they have helped him escape. Gods have increased the guards in Asgard and are also getting ready to find Fenrir. Because if they don't find Fenrir, it's the end of the world. Meanwhile, Frigg, one of the gods, has a chat with Roskva. According to her, she is the chosen one. She is a little confused, but asks,
Am I?
The gods stop arguing and Thor again warns her. Odin gives the final orders to everyone to hunt Fenrir. The next morning, Roskva and Tjalfi meet a mysterious boy, Quark. Apparently, he is also a servant like them. Okay, so while cleaning the house, Loki behaves rudely with them. Roskva doesn't like this behavior and she yells at him. Oh, and then Loki locks them in the room. Later, Roskva tells Tjalfi that she wants to return home. He is against it. I mean, according to him, they are lucky to serve the gods. At night, Roskva somehow unlocks the door and wakes Tjalfi to escape with her. He is initially against it, but after her constant convincing, he agrees. They even take Quark with them. They distract some of the guards and manage to exit the palace. Tjalfi suggests to Quark that they should separate, as they can't take him home. The siblings then come near the cliff. They remember that they can just try walking on air like Thor and Loki. Yeah, she falls down. Tjalfi tries to grab her, but he also starts slipping. Luckily, Quark saves both of them. Later, while finding a way out, they come across a deep forest. So they decide to make a base for them. Tjalfi is actually not happy being with Quark, and he decides to go back to Thor. He ends up in a spooky, dense forest. Little do he know, someone is following him. Apparently, some creepy guys catch him and take him to Ragnarok. I mean, the king of giants. He learns that Tjalfi actually serves Thor and he's actually immortal. The king asks about his companions and he tells them about his sister. Apparently, the giants know about the prophecy that a mortal girl who is the child of light is going to end the darkness from Valhalla. So they assume that Roskva is that child. Oh, and one more thing, they are the giants, which means the enemy of gods. Ragnarok then tries to trick Thjalfi, saying that they can make him as strong as gods. They then take him to Utgard. Meanwhile, Röskva and Kork are enjoying their time. Suddenly, a strange light comes from her and Kork quickly goes on his knees, as if he's bowing to her. Some days later, a giant tries to sneak into their base. However, Thor comes and defeats the creature. He is angry at them as this place is not safe. He then asks about Thjalfi. This shocks her, as she thought he was with Thor. Yeah, he's missing. Thor learns that he went in the direction of Utgard, so he assumes that giants might have got him and he might be not alive. Thor tries to make her understand the situation and takes them with him. While returning to Valhalla, they meet Tyr. He is on a hunt for Fenrir with some guards. Suddenly, Röskva senses Fenrir and alerts everyone. The creature comes like a walking chaos, and the rest of them get ready to fight. Fenrir comes in front of Röskva and for some reason, she starts talking to him. This shocks Thor, and he understands that there's indeed something special about this girl. Later, she reveals that she can sense animals and can make a unique stone circle. After seeing the circle, he quickly decides to take her to the Asgard Hall. On the other hand, at Utgard, Ragnarok makes Thjalfi sit on his chair and gives him a drink. According to him, this drink will make him stronger. However, the drink makes him go crazy and brainwashes him. Basically, Ragnarok's plan is to get Röskva through her brother. He knows that she will come looking for him. Meanwhile, Thor takes Röskva to the hall. He tries to convince Odin and the other gods that she is the child of light. He even tells them that she can create stone circles. Basically, this exact stone circle is seen in the prophecy. Let's talk about this prophecy. So 3,000 years ago, Yggdrasil's future queen went missing, and the prophecy says that she will return to Valhalla as a child of God or light, you can say. Odin learns that she can't create Bifrost like other gods. Yeah, that's the Bifrost. So in the end, nobody believes Thor except for Frigg. Thor then takes care of her and even gives her his own bed. At night, Frigg comes to her and takes her near the lake. She makes her wear a robe and tells her that her brother is in danger. She is the child of God who can reunite the gods and bring the light in Valhalla. Suddenly, she wakes up from the dream and finds herself in the same robe. She quickly tells about this incident to Thor, and according to him, this might be a message from God. Later, a raven brings her Thjalfi's necklace, which makes her believe that her brother is still alive. She asks for Thor's and Loki's help, and they decide to help her. They quickly reach Utgard and meet Ragnarok. He sees Röskva and comes up with a plan. They organize a drinking competition, where if Thor wins, they will return Thjalfi. And if Ragnarok wins, he will stay with him. As the competition starts, Ragnarok tricks him by causing a continual flow of drink from the cup. This makes Thor angry and he demands for another contest. They then decide to settle this with arm wrestling with the queen. She easily defeats him. Suddenly, a lady named El, who's actually the king's mother, casts a spell on Thor. He starts growing old. Loki quickly tells Röskva to run as it's not safe here anymore. She quickly escapes the place and ends up in Valhalla. She tells Odin about the incident, and again nobody believes her. She doesn't know what to do, so goes to meet Fenrir. I don't know how she found the place, but okay. She tries to pet him. Meanwhile, Frigg makes Odin understand that Röskva is indeed the child of God. Meanwhile, we see Röskva riding the Fenrir and forming the bond of trust. The gods come and see this miracle. They finally believe her and accept her as the child of God. Now they need to stop Ragnarok at any cost. So basically, Thor's hammer is the only weapon that can defeat Ragnarok. They reach Utgard and the battle begins. Meanwhile, Röskva tries to find her brother. A giant suddenly attacks her. However, the same light comes again and defeats the monster. She finally manages to find Thjalfi and tries to wake him up. On the other hand, Thor starts fighting Ragnarok. He defeats the king with the help of his hammer and Thjalfi comes back to his senses. Odin orders everyone to leave this place. Röskva says her goodbye to Fenrir and returns to Valhalla. While inside the hall, Odin asks for forgiveness for his previous behavior. To show his appreciation, he allows her a place in the Great Hall as a god. However, she doesn't want any of this. She just wants to go home and live a normal mortal life with her parents. Even though it is difficult for gods to accept, Odin allows it. Frigg then gives her a necklace saying that the door of Valhalla is always open for her. She then bids farewell to Thor and leaves with Kork. Oh, and now she can finally walk on the Bifrost, indicating that she is indeed a god. Thjalfi also goes with her and they reach their homeland. They reunite with their parents and they even welcome Kork in the family. Few days go by and everything comes to the normal routine. Röskva makes a stone circle saying that she is grateful and somewhere Thor hears her. The end. So how did you like this spin-off of the Thor movie? I still personally prefer the Avengers one. Write your opinions in the comments section and subscribe.